Let's see. Are we live? Are we live? Yes, maybe. Yes, no, maybe so. And yeah, there we are. We are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the very first hashtag CAD Model of the Day stream. So, there was a thunderstorm that was passing by the area, and the lightning was actually pretty bad, and I was a little bit nervous about the power cutting off, but I think it's passed, and I think that's all good. Uh, but yeah, if the stream suddenly cuts off, that means I have lost power. And the reason that that's an issue, like before I had a laptop, but I got a new PC. So let me see if I could show that to you. Yeah, there she is. This is the Nzxt Streamer Pc, and it's been great so far. You may notice that I can just stick my hand in here, like there's nothing preventing me from just touching the components. And you might be like, "Wow, they sold it to you like that?" Well, not exactly. There was a glass pane here, but when I was trying to take it off to take out the packing material on the inside, the whole pane jumped out. The corner smacked onto the counter and shattered. It was a very sad day, and they are back ordered on that part. So I just have a PC that is open to the world. So yeah, it's working pretty well. Except I gotta get that part fixed on my PC. But at any rate, so I'm gonna be modeling just kind of casually. I don't want this to feel like a class or anything. And the best way I can put it was when I was in college, we had a design studio that all the mechanical engineers would go to. And yeah, in that studio is where, people would do their homework, they would do their modeling for their design projects and stuff like that. But it was also a place to just hang out. Like it had a dartboard and stuff. It actually had a dartboard that was very similar to the one that I have right here. But that was the point. It was just like a place where you can go chill and just hang out with your other mechanical engineering candidates, and that's kind of what I'm going for. So, while I'm modeling, feel free to ask questions and about anything really, like the part that I'm modeling right in front of you, or if you have a question about a past CAD model of the day that I did, or you want to ask me what my favorite color is. This is just a little bit of hangout time in a time of us being separated due to circumstances in the world. But that's enough of my little intro, I suppose. Uh, I want to model this. I first have to unplug it so I don't pull everything off of my desk. But I bought this speaker at IKEA. And this thing is great. It runs on batteries, and it's just really cool product design. I enjoy it. Also pretty cool. It has a number of attachment points. So those are like threaded inserts, and you can arrange these modules in a number of different ways. And they sell even more modules too, where it's like you can like put a light to react to the music. It's really cool. And if this looks familiar, it's not just you, because I modeled the little brother version a while ago. I believe this was CAD Model of the Day 93. I modeled this little IKEA speaker. I think it's part of the Frekvens lineup, means frequency in Swedish apparently. But yeah, this should be, even though it's very prismatic, it should pose a good modeling challenge. So what I think I'll do, so I'm going to pretend that it's going to be in battery mode, so I'm going to take out this cable like that. Yeah, I think I'll even model this cable. Let's model this strap, and I think we can try and make it look very nice and kind of freeform, just to represent the cloth that this is made of. And yeah, I think that'll be pretty cool. So let's get started in our SolidWorks view here. So also, let me know how you like the layout, because that is something that I am testing. But hopefully, so I'm actually getting a part here. So hopefully, You know, you'll be able to see all the action clearly, as well as every key that I press on my keyboard. And let me check the live stream. Yeah, David, you're a mechanical engineer. Yeah, this is like the mechanical engineer bros and gals hangout. That's what I want this to be, you know. So yeah, I was looking for, here we go, a little Allen wrench. And I'm actually gonna go take my little speaker apart. Just the top module, because I'll do every module separately. I like to put a lot of detail on my CAD model of the day stuff. Well, actually, while I'm doing this, I can set this back to the webcam so you'll see what I'm doing. So it's like there are these little screws here that I'm taking out. Yeah. Thanks for bearing with me, because this is my first live stream, and you know, just gotta figure out the old-fashioned way how to do it. You just start with it and hopefully try not to block what the audience is trying to see with your microphone or anything like that. But this is really cool bit of product design. I was like really happy to see it, because you don't usually see product design like this a lot nowadays, where there's like exposed screws and stuff like that as part of the actual design. But it makes me especially excited because you could, I can imagine doing different stuff to attach to this, like from a 3D print point of view. Like, it would be very easy to 3D print a handle or something like that and attach it to these screw points. So I just think that's so cool. Yeah, so got the subwoofer here. And as far as my measuring tools go, nothing too special. I've just got a ruler, which is washed out. There we go. There's my ruler. And I always have a couple pairs of these calipers. So I have one in metric and another in SAE Imperial. So, of course, I grew up in the States. I tend to think a little bit easier in Imperial, you know, feet and inches, but I've been slowly transitioning to appreciate the metric system a bit more. Not that I didn't appreciate it before, but yeah, I'm starting to, like, if someone says, oh, that gap is 2 millimeters, I can now more easily imagine what that is in my head versus, you know, you say, oh, that's a 1/16 of an inch gap. And it's like, I immediately know what that is. So it's been a little bit of a process, but yeah, going back into my Solidworks, you know, we're just going to start a brand new part. And before we do anything significant, we'll just give it a new place to live. So I actually prepared a folder, Frekvens or Frekvens. I'll just call it like that. And yeah, also pretty neat about this is the speaker. This thing is in 2 parts as well. This thing has a faceplate that you actually just take out. It's got these like little washer things that just kind of they friction hold themselves in place. I'm not sure how to describe that, but you know, there's the speaker itself. Look how cool it looks. All right, so I think I'm gonna put the origin right at the bottom of the speaker. So if this thing is sitting on your table, on your floor, I'm just gonna sketch this rectangular bit on the top plane, and I'll extrude upwards. And we'll just work our way from there. So immediately I can right click, swipe down, and here's a cool thing. So when you have SolidWorks, you have these kind of standard right click gestures. You can modify this to whatever you want, but what's really cool, what a lot of people don't know, so I want a center point rectangle, but if you look right there, I only have a corner to corner rectangle, but I can still get it from here, sort of. So if I just grab my corner rectangle and just hit the A key on my keyboard, hit the A key, it actually automatically switches to the next type of rectangle, which happens to be a center rectangle. And if you keep pressing A, it just kind of cycles through. So Yeah, Jade saying, Jade saying, I'm from the UK, so metric is all I know. Plus, I mean, it's super good. I mean, once you get used to metric, it's just you the problem with Imperial, especially for a designer from the States, it takes a little while to learn like all the powers of two like fractions and stuff. Like, oh, a 16th of an inch, that's 0.0625. What's a 32nd of an inch? 0.03125. It's like really weird and an unnecessary amount of work. All right, I take notice that I'm in inches, but I will not let that fool me. So I'm just getting my ruler. And this seems to be, 10 centimeters or 100 millimeters right on the dot. So I'll say 100 mm. And I'll change the units. I always forget to do that. There we go. Now we're in the correct units. And its length, 20 centimeters or 200. And that wants to go up. It is square. So I'll say 200. All right, and that's the CAD model of the day for... No, I'm kidding. There's still a little bit of work left to do. But I think next I'll work on this speaker hole. Like this. So I'm just going to grab the diameter of that. Looks to be 120 millimeters. So I can just sketch there. And, oh, actually, I learned a cool trick. So I need a circle right on the center of this face, right? So check this out. I'm just going to back out of this sketch for a second. So a lot of people ask, especially when I taught Solidworks classes, if you go into reference geometry, you have this little point thing. And a lot of people would ask me, so what's the point of point when I can just put that in a sketch? Well, the really cool thing about point is that it has a specific definition that is the center of face. So if you grab that and just click that, it'll automatically grab the centroid, which for a square is not too bad to find. I could just drop two center lines and find it pretty easily. But if, for example, you have an octagonal face or a pentagonal face, that could be a little bit trickier to get with construction geometry. And it's certainly not as clean in the sketch. So with that, I have the exact centroid of the face, and I can just drop that exactly where I need it to be, which I think is pretty cool. All right, so I need to try and take the depth of that, and I'm actually just going to use my calipers as a kind of depth gauge. But I'll try and do this carefully because I don't want to poke the speaker too much. A little bit lower, a little subwoofer portion. And that wants to go down 15 millimeters as a cut. And I'll work on more, we got like a ring, kind of ring shape in there. Can work on that as well. I'm wondering if I can do that. I can definitely do that with a revolve. David says, I miss SolidWorks. My workplace uses Inventor and it sucks. I actually have a story about that. When I was exiting college, I had an interview at a place that used Inventor. And at that point, I was actually a certified SolidWorks expert. So I felt pretty confident in myself in showing them some of my skills, even though they had a different system. But what I failed to realize was, just how much of a different animal Inventor is, especially in terms of workflow. Like a test that they had me do was it's like, okay, we have this table thing and you want to put a foot on this table. And all right, so just show me how you do it. And, a lot of the buttons look the same. And honestly, I picked some of these buttons, but just the way they ask for the geometry, like in SolidWorks, if I want to mate two surfaces that are just touching each other, I just say this surface coincident. That's it. No, but with Inventor, I don't know what version this was, but in Inventor, I was actually greeted with a screen that asked for the 2 pieces of geometry. Okay, I say this face and this face, and I hit OK, and nothing happened. And it was like, okay, I have coincident open, or right? I have the 2 faces. I hit OK. Why is nothing happening? It turns out you have to specify the alignment. You have to say whether they're aligned or anti-aligned before you can complete the command. And that to me is just nonsensical, because SolidWorks just picks whatever's closest. If it's going coincident in the wrong direction, what do? You flip it. That's just one, I guess, convenience that I really enjoy in terms of just using SolidWorks. But Inventor is good for its own things too. You know, I've seen what the sheet metal engine in Inventor can do, and it's actually quite impressive. And I wish SolidWorks had some of that, same stuff. All right, so I'm gonna do this like internal speaker portion thing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, David it tells it better than I. It's like you say flush, but then you got to tell it positive or negative. And it's like just do it. If it's wrong, I'll flip it. You know, that's the way I think, at least. You know, and of course I could be biased, or I mean I would say that I am biased, since I've been using SolidWorks for a number of years now. And if you'll let me grab that thing, there we go. Get a dual dimension here. Alright, I'm just going to estimate for this one, because this will actually be inside of the speaker grill. So I'm not going to really worry about the exact detail of this. I think that should be good. So that kind of looks like the speaker, right? If I show this up to the camera, and I'm just waiting for my thing to... Yeah, that's getting there, I would say. So far, so good. Let's see. What else can I do? I guess on that same face, there are the little nubby, well, the little holes that the little grippy things go into. So I guess I'll tackle those next. A little bit down. Yeah, those things. So I can do that. So I can just take the depth of the hole with my caliper. Yeah. Really nice thing about calipers, if you don't have a depth gauge, you can use it. You can just kind of stick the end into it like that and have your own de facto depth gauge. So that's 5 millimeters. I'm trying to think whether I should use the hole wizard, even though this is just a simple hole pretty much. There's also this like little ring that I'd like to model as well. I think I might do this with a sketch driven pattern. So yeah, let's find out the locations of these holes first. Oops. Yeah, let me get rid of that. I want to sketch right on this face. And actually, let me get rid of ambient occlusion and real view. Sorry, that was probably really annoying for you to see. But yeah, Control 8 brings us normal 2. And from this same thing, you know, there we have our blueprint of where our 9 holes have to go. Nick says hello. Hello, Nick. We should add a dono link. I actually do not know what a dono link is. Oh, for like donations? Yeah, I thought about doing that. Oh, my calipers aren't long enough. But I just wanted to see how this one goes, you know. And also, it's like no pressure. So 175 millimeters. Yeah, I'll think about it. But, you know, the biggest thing is just like, you know, a lot of people ask me how I do the different kinds of stuff. And I think this is a good way of, oops, I think I might have put 2 points there. Alright, so I got my little framework. So let me just destroy those points and then re-add it. Alright, so those are my points for the our sketch-driven pattern. We'll eventually have those. And yeah, I think I'll just make this a simple hole for right now. As in simple hole, as in simply making extrude cut. There's funny thing, there actually is a command called simple hole. Like if you go here and type simple hole, and oops, and it's just kind of a holdover from very old versions of Solidworks. It's defunct at this point. No one uses simple hole, like unironically. But, you know, there's some macros out there that were created like in 2002 that uses simple hole as one of the components. And, you know, people will be mad. People will be mad if it was removed. Yep, so 5. I can just go 5 down. 5. Alright, and I'm actually going to add the little ring. I'm going to do it as a little recess. Alright, so that wants to be, yep, just 10 millimeters. 10. And just as a wild guess, I'll make it go down half. So that's kind of what that looks like. And now I should be able to populate it with sketch-driven pattern. It wants this, and then features and faces. I'll just pick it in the tree. Alright, let me see if this will fail or not. Okay, it was happy. So SolidWorks does not like to cut air. funny thing. So sometimes it will be, it'll throw a fit if you try and do stuff like that. How many days am I aiming for? Asked Nick. That's a good question, and the best answer I have for that right now is at least a year. I at least want to do this for a year, but honestly, I am excited to do this indefinitely. So one of the guys that I was really inspired by, his name is Beeple_crap. He has, here, I'll take a little detour right now. So Beeple uses Cinema 4D. It's another 3D modeling program, but it's more artistic. Maybe I can spell Beeple. There we go. There we go. Oops. Okay, so yeah, Beeple crap. He uses Cinema 4D as his weapon of choice, and yeah, some of them are strange. Some of them have a little political charge to them. So if you go check that out, just know that. But he's been doing renders for 13 years now. He has over 4,500 of these. And if I ever even get to half of that, you know, that'll just be absolutely amazing. He's been doing this for 13 years and has not missed a day, apparently. Yep, it's super amazing. So definitely check this guy out. And there was an interview that he did that, you know, caused me to dive into this, because I actually had the idea for CAD Model Today for a long time. I knew for a couple of years that I wanted to do something like that, but I didn't think I had what it takes in order to do that. But, you know, he was just like, oh, when you do something like this, you can't be a perfectionist. You know, once you get it, you just do something that, you know, looks cool. Just put it out there and just see what people think. And, you know, it's been very gratifying. All right, so David says, speaking of macros, have you played around with SolidWorks API? I started writing scripts with Inventor API, and that's pretty much the only redeeming feature. That has been on my bucket list for the past couple of years. I haven't really tried the SolidWorks API. I even have the API Fundamentals training manual. So I've been fixing to get, oh, you can't even see that, but that says API Fundamentals. Yeah, so I have a training manual where I can actually teach myself to do that, but it's just a matter of sitting down and actually doing that. Because honestly, there's been a couple things that were like, wow, that is repetitive. I want to write a macro to to take care of that, you know. All right, but okay, so we have, I'd say, the front face done. Let's take care of these sides. So the sides have these little like divot thingies here, and I suspect I can do that easily enough. There are a couple of kind of like screw, more threaded inserts that I have to watch out for. So yeah, let's try it. The only thing awkward about this is it's kind of tough to know which is the bottom or not. All right, so I'm just gonna start over here, and since this is a regular rectangular pattern, yeah, I'm just gonna measure a feature and just use my regular linear pattern. No need to overcomplicate, in my opinion. So I'm just gonna drop a circle right there. And this thing is just so nice and designed in metric that these are just coming out to be nice whole numbers. Yeah, I'm just like measuring those little divots. Yeah, they are 10 millimeters from each side. Isn't that awesome? I love it. If I can grab that, that says 10. And I can say equals 10. So that's a fancy way of linking two dimensions together. I do that sometimes. All right, and that's still 5 millimeters, but these ones are a lot shallower and just 1 mil depth. So 5, and that wants to go down 1. All right, so there's my first divot. Just grabbing my linear pattern. And for my linear patterns, I like to throw planes for the direction. So I see a lot of people throw edges. I rather throw planes. And that is because planes, especially these primary ones, they can never be destroyed. And so yeah, that's always pretty good. Let's do that. That's going the wrong way. That's also going the wrong way. That's always my luck. I always set something up and just picks the wrong direction, you know. Alright, so now I need to figure out some spacing. They're square, so I only have to take one dimension, really. And looks like that dimension is 25. Uh, 25. There we go. And that goes 4 over. Like that. And that will go... yeah, all the way down like that. The only thing I see is that it looks like there's a little bit extra distance here, so one of the dimensions I have is wrong. Though I'm not going to worry about it too much. Yeah, it might even be 27.5. Let me see what that wants to do. Yeah, I'll just leave it at 25 for right now. I can always change it a little bit later. Yeah, but that's a thing. It's just like you don't want to make yourself absolutely crazy about this stuff because it's all about having fun with it. All right, so just out of curiosity, let me see if I can figure it out with my measure tool. I also have to... yeah, let me see what this wants to... that wants to be. Let me turn off point to point. There we go. So that's 15. So that's 5 extra millimeters over 3 spaces, I believe. So let me see if I do plus 5 over 3. Yep, there we go. So that is a change that I probably couldn't really even detect on my calipers. Yeah, just trying to make them look even. Is this the first time you've streamed? Actually, yes. Yeah. Feel free to let me know how I'm doing so far. You know, just kind of having fun. All right. So I'm gonna do the front plate to this. Well, actually, let me do the. You see, this is the eternal problem. I'm like so like ADD, like ADHD that you know, I just like wait. I want to model this. No, wait, it's that. So I'm kind of all over the place with this stuff. Let me see. Yeah, I think I'll just. All right, I know what I'm gonna do. You know what? You know what, chat? This is what we're gonna do. Let me get out of the sketch because I'm gonna make that again, but on this face. And technically it's threaded, but I don't need that level of detail for the render that I'm going for in the end here. But if I grab this, hold down my control key, and just kind of click and drag like that. I'm just gonna say dangle. There you go. You reproduce the hole on this face. Just say dangle. Actually, I think I can just delete this. So that's how you copy features. It's very useful for when you need to just get them from one face to another. So now all I gotta do is just go back in here. Whoops, I lost you. Come back. Yeah, there's a mustard dimension, relation. I just kill that, and I can just slap it on there again with a couple of smart dimensions. No biggie. 10. Oh, actually, no, that's the one I made as a. Yeah, that's 175, I think. So probably should go for that dimension, honestly. Getting a center line like that. I'll have to kill that. Yeah, it's a little different. And actually what I'll do, this will overdefine, but I'll just say leave dimension driving like that. Whoops. I meant driven. Silly me. I wanted you to be driven. There you go. Now it's acting like a little measuring tape. I can double click this and say that you are equal to whatever this guy says. You're playing Simon Says. And you don't want to listen. Because you're dangling as well. It's okay. We'll get you to where you need to go. Alright, and we're there. Jade says, what did I just do? The copying thing? If it's a copying thing, you just go in the tree, hold down control, click and drag onto a face, and you choose whether you want to delete the relations or dangle. And that means like I had relations going to the edge. That edge doesn't exist on this face, so we have to do something with them. You just say one of the options, and that's it. Yeah, that's a really fun trick. But yeah, a couple of mirrors should get me where I need to go. Mirror. So I want this and that. Oh, the copy and linear. Oh, with 5/3. Yeah, I measured the center of the measure of the center of the circle to the edge, and I found out that was 15, excuse me, versus the dimension I specified here was 10, and that means that over the 3 spaces that there are, it drifts by 5 millimeters, so to say, and that means every space needs an extra 5/3 of a millimeter. So that's why I added it to that, and it fixed up the pattern. Yeah, that's like a nerd math trick that I just so happen to know. Let me see if I can just grab that. If it'll grab everything, that'll be so cool. Yep, there we are. And these features are repeated on the bottom. So guess what? Yet another mirror like that. This is looking Oh yeah. Most of the dimension boxes will take math. Not all of them do, but I would say like a good 90% of the dimension boxes will take math. I think the one notable exception is a plane. So if I specify a plane and then say, hey, what's 5 plus 5? Well, actually, that was a bad example. 6 plus 6. Oh, no. I don't know if that changed or if I'm just going crazy. Never mind then. Sorry, I'm ramblings of a crazy 26-year-old. Let's just put it that way. All right. Let's work on the back. There's a couple of ports back here. And, yeah, actually, I can mirror. Yeah, there's a lot of symmetry in this nice little product. And, oh, I can mirror. Oh, no, that is not what I wanted. Oh, I picked the wrong mirror. Face plane. There we go. Just like that, we'll populate it to the back, except we don't want this here. You can even enter expressions. Yep, exactly right, David. So you can actually hunt through your tree and say, I want this dimension plus this dimension to equal this new dimension. And it's very useful. It's actually a great way to put a little bit of intelligence in your part. Nick says, wait, you're only 26? Yep. I get that I look a lot older a lot of the time. I don't mind it because when I was like 15 or 16, my friend's like, hey, can you go and buy alcohol for us? I mean, I wouldn't, but it was just really funny. It's like, oh yeah, you could totally fool that guy. But yeah, I just always looked older. All right, so to get rid of this thing, I got my delete face tool up, and I'm just gonna delete all the faces of that hole. If I say delete and patch, it means that it destroys all those faces and it patches it over. And you might say, well, with what does it patch it over? Well, it's this surrounding surface, and that's what makes SolidWorks different than, like, for example, Blender. So SolidWorks actually keeps track of the underlying equations of all the surfaces. So it's able to extend it for a patch that doesn't actually exist. So when I hit OK, that hole disappears and I never have to worry about it again. It's great. All right, so looking at the back side, we're doing pretty well here. This is the back side of the speaker. So I'll need to model that. I probably won't make it actually move because that's, I think, in this case, an unnecessary amount of detail. I'll probably do the 2 power ports. Yeah, this thing's so cool. You can actually put AC in, out. You can put power in and actually power out. So it just helps with the modularity of this thing. Did I tell you that I love this thing? This thing is just so cool. A couple ports, and we got a little dial there. So this might take just a second here. Just depends on what I'm feeling. And actually, I have an idea. Oh boy. All right, let's try this. I'm going to start with the AC in port here. Delete hole. Yeah, how do you work for a bar? Oh, yeah. It's really a bit on the... It's not as hard as you think. It's not like some super secret cult or anything. I think the hard part is just knowing who the SolidWorks resellers are. And, yeah, for that, you can just Google search this like SolidWorks reseller in my area. So I could say SolidWorks reseller. In my area, it would be Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, and if I go here, you could see Trimec is one of them. So I can just go to their career page if they have one. Contact careers, and let's say I'm going for Fort Lauderdale, and yeah, and you would just search these pages here. I think it's just look up the name of a SolidWorks reseller and see if they have any openings for application engineers. So that's the thing that you do training, tech support, which isn't as bad as it is. I was mostly a trainer when I worked for a VAR, but whenever I had to work the phones, it wasn't that bad. Engineers are polite for the most part, I would say. You'd think they'd be mean, but they're nice. Uh, how's the pay? It's pretty decent actually. So, it's actually just behind a design engineer. So I worked in New Jersey, and a design engineer there earns like 80K a year, and I was just under that. So really not that bad. Is a CSWP something required? Sometimes it can be. The one that I worked for didn't specifically require it, but it's one of those things that SolidWorks experience is like preferred. So the stronger you are, the higher up you go on their hiring lists. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And then you have access to. I mean, one of the best parts of it is like when you work for any other company. When you work for any other company, you only have the SolidWorks products that they pay for. And but with a VAR, you have access to pretty much every product. So if you're like, I want to try CircuitWorks, or I want to try SolidWorks Visualize, I want to. In a regular environment, you might not have Visualize and you don't have access to it in that case. But with a VAR, you have access to pretty much every product, and it's cool. It is really cool. Between a design engineer and working for a VAR, a lot of the times it could be the same thing. So in the VAR that I worked for, they had a design engineering department, and if you were in that department, your responsibilities would be exactly the same as a design engineer. The way they build it was like, okay, so if you have like an engineering company, and there's always those crunch times and crunch weeks where you don't have enough hands on deck. Those guys will call their VAR and it's like, hey, can we rent out some time from one of your engineers? And they'll work on their projects. So there's that, but we have other specialist roles as well. So if you think about it, almost like a game, sometimes you have like your main damage dealers, you have your tanks, and then you have your supports that help those two other classes do their job. Being an application engineer for a bar is like being a support engineer. You help other engineers make their life easier, and it's pretty. Which company did you say? It was. Yeah, I don't want to name drop, but it was in New Jersey, and that's the grain of salt you got to take there. Cost of living in New Jersey is kind of high. So it's not as much as earning 80K out in the Midwest, but I would do training, and people will come after. It's like, you're really good at SolidWorks. How about you just quit and come work for me? I'll give you this much. There's been a couple of those. Squonkish says, Rob. Hello, Squonkish. I don't know who you are yet, but I. Oh, I know who that is. Yeah, Squonkish and I worked at the same place. It was pretty good for the most part, I would say. This guy's the best. I don't know if I go that far, but yeah. I mean, I left because I just kind of wanted to build something of my own, and I guess you're looking at it right here. With a CAD model of the day, and I'm starting to, you're in my very first stream, and. Yeah, I think every job has its like rough parts. It's like, oh, I'd rather be anywhere else right now. But let's put it this way, Nick. If a really good opportunity to be an application engineer arose again, I'd consider it. I would consider taking it. I'm not gonna say that on stream, Mr. 599. But yeah, that was a little detour. I'm gonna go ahead and Squonkish. Yeah, she's doing her own thing as well. Aren't you starting your own blog or something like that? You have a seat at Solidworks, right? You got to show me what you're doing. What's my favorite new SolidWorks feature? That's that's a good question. I honestly want to say flexible part. That one's been pretty good. And yeah, so I've been dorking around with that with like some of my flexible animations, which by the way, apparently astounded the alpha testing interviewer from SolidWorks. Like, I got my name got dropped for alpha testing for SolidWorks Motion. She gave me a call and was like, "All right, so what kind of things you do?" And I'm like, "Well, let me show you what I like to do." And I showed them some of my animations where I like animate rope and stuff like that. And they were like, "Wait, what? How'd you do that?" So I like gave like a explanation, but you know, it's just really cool. It's just a whole big set of tools. And you just kind of try and make it work for you. Alright, so I'll just leave that right there so I know where that is. And actually, pretty conveniently, this is left over from the sketch-driven pattern, I can actually easily center a slot along here. Yay for reusing. Squonkish says, "I'm writing for SolidWorks now. You should see my next blog post." Oh yeah. All right, so I'll be sure to drop the link to that when that drops, and you know, we'll check it out. Yeah, I know it's gonna be awesome. All right, so we have an AC power port here. What does that want to be? Ooh, 10. See, metric is just so beautiful. So beautiful. By, what is that, 7.5? Alright, we'll do that. Oh, it's so close already. Look at that. Can I grab a midpoint? Not really. Let's drop yet another center line. And let me see if it can snap this to the midpoint if it wants to agree with me. Alright, no, midpoint is very shy. Midpoint, come out please. There we are. Yeah, that's a pretty good little feature there. You got right-click, select midpoint. Yeah, I feel like back in the day, I started in SolidWorks 2015, and I felt like the midpoints they just really wanted to jump out at you, but now they're more shy these days. All right. Hey, it's Too Tall Toby. So if you guys haven't seen Too Tall Toby's stuff, I actually was on his Model Monday show a couple weeks ago. He's super good. And definitely, if you want to test your skills, he has challenge models every single week. And right now he's seeding for a CAD tournament. So if you want to do that, be sure to check Too Tall Toby's channel, subscribe to him, and yeah, try and win a seat. Although I'm gonna be trying to win a seat too, but we'll see how that goes. I was just having a mistake-filled night in last week's stream, and the week before that, a tree branch fell and cut out all the power to my house, so I couldn't even participate at that point. But to y'all too. Yeah, autocorrect is rough, man. I tell you what. All right, so that's looking pretty good. And what else do I want to do right now? Yeah, I think what I'll try and do, there's like a feature in here that's like a little triangle on both sides. Well, I think that's the beauty of SolidWorks. Like when if you ever go to SolidWorks World, which is actually called 3D Experience World now, there's a speed modeling contest that happens there every single year, and honestly, it could be anyone's game because you would think like having the skills of like super fast mouse movement and stuff like that, and this most optimized settings, will do the will do the trick. And it's really not. It's all about the path you choose. So I find that's actually a little bit better, that once you get the drawing to speed model from, just take a breath and look at it and just kind of plan out your route. And I usually find a little bit more success with that. I actually did win one of Toby's little contests, but that was before he was seeding for the tournament. So, I mean, I guess I'll have to do that again. Whoops. Let's do that 10. Ooh, I don't like where that's going. 11. Yeah, there'll be some points where I'm just kind of guessing at dimensions, just depending on how I feel. All right, so I know this looks like garbage right now, but I should be able to pick these two triangles with my contour select tool. So I'll hopefully depend on that. So need my extrude, selected contours, grab a little triangle. Yep, that's exactly what I want. But instead of going all the way to the top, it's actually a little bit offset. I use my SA calipers for that. Rip. All right, let's try that again. All right, 3 millimeters. So I say offset from surface, 3 mils. All right, and lastly, there's going to be 2 prongs. Just like that. Oops. Yep, Squonkish is correct. Yeah, Squonkish worked with me when I was at a reseller. We worked there at the same time, but we both moved on at the same time, at around the same point. All right, so I'm gonna see if I can try and shove my calipers and get the. Well, no, I'm gonna have to estimate. I think it's like 2 mil. Yeah, that's the thing with these renders. You don't have to get like blazingly close to the actual value. All right, so we'll extrude. Let's do that maybe 7. Maybe 10. Yeah, that looks pretty good. We'll just merge that. And to get the little domey bits, I'll actually use the dome. So I'll set that to not 21, but 2. Oh, actually needs to be 1. 1. That does not look quite right. What if I... Okay, that's pretty strange. So if I put just one face in there, it turns into a perfect half sphere. But if I put the other one there, they like... That is weird. Alright, whatever. I'll just do it twice. I'm a Quarks man. Alright, so that's my power port. That's my power port. Yeah, dome feature. Yeah, dome is underrated in my opinion. It's pretty good. All right, so I'm gonna try and do what's called a pro gamer move. So let me get my OBS so I can actually see what I'm showing you guys. So there is this power port. There is this power port that I just modeled. You can. Oh my God, camera stuff is hard. There's the power port. Here's the other one. They're inverses. They're supposed to fit together. So I think I have a fun little trick that we can try and try and get this done a little quicker. All right, so I'm going to measure the overall width of that slot on the other end, and that looks like 12.5. And I'm just, instead of modeling over here, we'll just put it over here for right now. So these will be right on the end. $12.5. So we'll try that. Reverse engineering is so fun. Oh, I completely agree. All right, so I'm gonna flip that, go towards the inside, and I don't know if I want a little extra on one side. Yeah, sure, why not? I don't even know if this is gonna work, so whatever. Oh, and I'll uncheck merge results. So this is another body that is kind of hanging out in here. So have an exam tonight. Good luck, Nick. Yeah, everyone wish Nick good luck on his exam. I know that feel. All right, so I have this body that's just kind of sitting in the middle there, and I'm gonna try and use my indent command. So indent, I will try to use that. Say cut. If I do that, it should imprint all the faces on my little block that I made. So if I hit OK and I hide this, that's pretty close to what I'm looking for. Yep, Nick needs all your powers combined. Yeah, so that's the geometry. And I guess all you have to do now is just really move it into place. Yeah, you could say it's a bit cheese, but whatever. Whoops. Come back. So yeah, let me do move copy bodies. And say constrain. And I'll say this face. Oh, I need the other body. Come back. Show. To. Whoops. That to this. And let's flip it. Okay, we'll add that for right now. Uh-oh, my scroll stopped working for a second. It knows I'm about to do some cheese. All right. So Dome 2 needs to hide. Let's see if I can get that facing. Like that. Add. Yeah, we're fairly close. I need something to define this. That is the question. I wonder if I can put a point. Yeah, so I'll just leave it like that for right now. Yeah, so let's try this. I'm just going to start a sketch with a center line. Probably is a better way to do this. But actually I might even be able to just manually move it, because this doesn't have to be the most exact thing ever. So actually using my point, I can find the centroid of this point. Then with my measure, I can measure the distance between point 2, 97.5, copy that value. Yeah, because the point of CAD model today is not burning yourself out. All right, and really the last step, I'll sketch, convert, I'll say extrude cut. Oop, I killed it. Come back. I just have to move copy bodies. All right, so there's that, and now we can just combine it together. All right, that wasn't much of a pro gamer move, I think. A screen share and stepping through the project. Yeah, I mean that's kind of the point. Like I was saying, like I just kind of want this to feel like I'm in the design studio of our college, and I'm just hanging out there, just doing this, and you're just peeking over my shoulders, like, oh, what's that? All right, so now that's done. Took a little bit longer than I expected, but if I change this, this will actually change and have the exact same geometry. It would be the mating geometry would change each other, which I think could be cool. All right, so there's that. Let's see, how long have I been doing this for? A little while. Yeah, I'm also still getting used to the YouTube interface too. All right. Yeah, this is taking. Whoops. Gotta turn off that alarm. I actually have an alarm that reminds me when I should do CAD model today. Yeah, cheese, never heard it called that. Yeah, I kind of steal that from the speedrunning community, like the community that speedruns video games. So a cheese strategy is a strategy that doesn't take like a lot of skill, but just kind of works. It's like kind of in Guitar Hero, like you get like something difficult to play, and you just kind of mash all the buttons, and it kind of works. It's like that's so cheese. It's like there's a better way to do this, but this works, I guess. It's like the sentiment you kind of get from it. All right, so I'll try and pick up the pace here. So I'm gonna do the little cover. Can finally put this thing down somewhere, I guess. Right there. Yep, there's this cover plate that I'll try and do. And it wants to be 5 mils deep, and of course will mate to those faces and will be its own body. So a thing that I really like to employ is instead of assemblies, I like to use multi-body parts for the most part. If I need something to move, like for example any of the mechanical movements that I do, I'll actually still model it as a multi-body part and then actually export it. So just something that I enjoy doing. All right, what is the thickness of this? They're like ribs and stuff, but I think I'll just ignore those. So shell, that will be 2 mils thickness I just measured. And now for these speaker holes, which should be pretty fun. At least my sketches are fully defined. Yeah, I mean, Toby will sing if I don't have my sketches fully defined. You can kind of actually see my face through this. So now I'm gonna try this speaker pattern. So I definitely will not use sketch-driven pattern because I don't think anyone wants to see me place 100 holes. But instead, I will use fill pattern. So what I'm gonna do is actually just approximate how large that circle is, and actually there are ribs on the inside that are pretty close. So again, it's like 125. So I'm gonna draw. I guess I could reuse the other circle, but whatever. I already got the circle sketched up anyway. All right, so those where all the speaker holes have to go. And I will split the face like this. So split line means just cut the face into 2 pieces. It doesn't actually punch anything through, but I will actually use this as my boundary. So you'll see what I mean. Fill pattern. So fill boundary will be our new split face like that. And now I have to determine the pattern, which is a honeycomb pattern. So that let me work from here because I want to get the diameter of the hole. So you can actually create the cut from this feature, so you don't have to pre-do a hole. So those appear to be 4 mil in diameter, and the space between each of the centers appears to be 5 mil. So 5. No preview is appearing because I need to give it a reference direction, and I think it can throw the right plane at it. Okay, no, it doesn't like it. How about this edge? Oh, it likes this edge. Wow, that's a lot of them. All right, let us see. I need to see. But that is looking pretty good. And they added that. Oh yeah. So you didn't have to punch all those holes. Alright, so that looks pretty good, except instead of 8 holes, I need 7. I'm probably doing a little too much effort for this, but whatever. There's no kill quite like overkill. Let me do that. Maybe 1 mil? How about 2? Yeah, I'll just leave it like that. That's the thing, for these kinds of projects, like if it's not agreeing with me immediately, then, you know, I just kind of go for it. A rolling, I actually, Toby, I actually have one of those rolling cube amps. Those are super, super good. Yeah. So there's our holes, so not too much effort, but you get this annoying extra face, but it usually doesn't affect anything. But if you really want to get rid of it, a delete face with delete and patch will work just fine. Heyo. Yeah, that's looking pretty good, I would say. All right, so I'll add the fillets last. So there are micro fillets that I need to add, but I'll go ahead and just put this back and work on the other bit. There's thankfully like not as many little things here and there. All right, so I got this little speaker portion. Yeah, so it looks like I'm at the 1 hour mark. So this is usually longer than what I would spend on my models of the day, but today's a momentous occasion. You know, very first stream. I'm willing to put the extra time in, and really the only deadline I'm fighting right now is midnight. Though I don't think I'll go too long. All right, so I got this little doodad. It's a little spacer. That should be fairly quick to model. So I think I'll just slap it on this. And actually, what I might do, because I'm so lazy, I don't feel like really defining anything. I'll do the same kind of cheese that I did. Oh no, I merged it. Come back. Yeah, so I need the inverse of whatever that thing is in there. So using my indent, say the target body is that, use cut. Yep, there's a little doodad. Man, indent is such an underrated feature, I'll tell you that. And there's our little spacer. Delete face works for so many things. Oh yeah, it does. That thing is like, it's honestly the duct tape of the Solidworks software. I'm pretty confident in calling it that. It works for so many things. Like, oh, that's there's an extra bit of geometry that accidentally extruded through. Well, not anymore with not anymore with delete face. That's for sure. Oops. The next clicks are real. All right, so there's that. And now I know that the other portion is supposed to be sitting right on the face of that, on at least one of the bumpers. So, actually, I can just convert that. Let's not worry about that too much. And I'm just gonna double check, but I don't think the height will be anything that interesting. Yep, just 10 millimeters. Features, extrude. 100. Yeah, I meant 10 centimeters is what I meant to say. Merge result. And actually, I can imprint those holes. Whoops. Come back. Using, again, the indent command. So, you saw there was no holes there before, but if I say that, say cut. Yeah, indent has also been my duct tape, man. Now there are holes. And you can kind of see that in there. Yeah, delete face A quintuple plus, it would appear. Yeah, I agree. It's so good. All right. So again, with these face plates, I'll take these off. Reveals this kind of like flat face here. And yeah, let's just kind of go for it. Yeah, let me throw down a center point, again using the point. It'll just find the centroid of that face, which is pretty good. And if I grab a midpoint line, I should be able to easily find the center of where the speaker is supposed to be. So where are you supposed to be? All right. I always misplace my calipers. I'm just kind of doing an eyeball estimate. Looks like that wants to be 50. All right, and now I can treat that as my other center point. So when I do the other side, looks like that wants to be, what is that? Looks like 71 actually. All right, sure. I'll extrude that down maybe like 5. Okay, so that's where our speaker's supposed to be. I wonder if I can draft that into a conical face. Yeah, not real. Well, actually, what I can do is I can say convert, extrude, and just put like a really gnarly draft on it, like 60. No, more still. And that inner thing is pretty small. Yeah, whatever. Okay, now it's looking kind of speaker-ish. And dome to make the little speaker bubble. Maybe 10. Okay, that's a little extreme. 5. 8. I can't decide sometimes. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. All right, so I got a couple of thanks Toby. Yeah, I mean thanks you all for being here. We had like 13 viewers at one point, which is totally awesome. That's more than I expected. I just hope to keep this going. I don't know if I'll do this every day quite yet, but be sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll post a couple hours in advance whenever I fancy doing this. So let me show that sketch. Yeah, I think I'll do another sketch-driven pattern. Like that. Oh, another tip that I like to tell people. I don't know when this was added, but for the center point rectangles, like usually you'll see them like this, stretch from the centers, from the corners. You can actually say from midpoints and do it like that. And the reason I like to put it on midpoints is that if I need a square, I can just do my center rectangle, click out here and swipe, get a right to left box. I grabs the two legs and I can say make equal. Makes a really quick square. Oh, except I need these to be. Yep, so I'll just draw some points. So I'm setting up for another sketch-driven pattern. And what is the dimension on this? Give me the dimension. Give me the dimension. Looks like 75. Whoops. Come back. And actually, yeah, Jade, thanks for showing up. And yeah, I hope to talk to you soon. Thanks for coming out. Yeah, those UK people. Toby, Kirby and Johnny were up at 2 a.m. for your live stream, right? That was a thing. We should just take Britain and just move it closer to the States. Alright, I'm just gonna like take extrude 3. Hold on, control, click and drag. Okay, so that one got both of them. Not sure why that one was. But I just control, click and drag in order to place it. Like that. And then I can say sketch driven. I gave you this. Oh no. Oh no. Well, just kidding, because I have delete face, the duct tape of all Solidworks. Huh, like it never even happened. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. Yeah, Kirby and Johnny, especially being on their podcast last week was such a pleasure. Let's see. And yeah, actually I did want mirror. Yeah, the reason why I'm putting so much effort in modeling the holes as well is I'm actually thinking of oh, gosh darn it. I'm actually thinking of 3D printing some attachments for this. So whenever I decide to do that, I'll have the model. So I can actually just design around it. So this is serving two purposes for me. All right, and in here we have the knob, the little hole thingy, and looks like a tweeter. Not a Twitter, but a tweeter. Alright, so let's grab another sketch, another rectangle, and say, let's do that. I actually did the shortcut Alt-C to turn it into all construction. Yeah, and hopefully you can see that I have like my keyboard callouts. So if you need to like go back and see anything, hopefully that'll help if you're watching the VOD, or just feel free to ask if you want me to redo something. Do it again. Yeah, I'm totally happy to oblige that. All right, so I'll like leave that as kind of like a layout sketch thingy. All right, what does this want to be? Like 20? I'll do that. 20, and I'll just kind of do an arbitrary depth. 40 maybe. I just need it deep enough so that when I put on ambient occlusion, I have to put real view. If I put ambient occlusion, it just looks like a dark hole. So that'll be good. For this, I think I'm going to put an elliptical fillet. An elliptical fillet. Yeah, so asymmetric. Let's try 10 and 5. See what that looks like. Can we flip? Yeah, that's kind of what I'm going for. There we go. Little sound hole thingy. And now it is time for the volume control. Alright, so I'm actually going to model the actual knob itself. Which wants to be like 30. We'll do that. Alright, so that's looking good. And I'll extrude towards the inside just a little bit, like 2. Uncheck merge result, and we're working with yet more multi-body stuff. Just gonna hide this away. Can do that by hovering over the thing and pressing tab. And now the grippy bit, which I will do with a rectangle. Alright, so that's 4 wide and 25 long. 25, 4. And the depth uh, 15. 1, 5, and make sure I only got this. All right, there we go. And you know what's about to come next? We got our indent. Going to indent this. You say cut, but instead of being a perfect fit, I'll put 0.5 mil of space. And there you go. Now when ambient occlusion happens, now it looks like it's actually connected to something, even though it's not in the model. But nobody has to know that. Only you guys, because you guys are the best, and you're in my stream. Alright, so I'm just going to assume the bottom one is 30 as well. Oop. Fat fingered that. So that goes down 2. Like that, and I'll just dome that. Dome, but not that much. Okay, and that's like the overall inside there. Like that. Alright, so far so good. Alright, I'm gonna try and end this fairly soon. I don't want to go way too long, especially that I still have to render this. Yeah, I might actually get rid of some of the other features just to make time for that. Yeah, that's kind of the fight you have to make with CAD model of the day, because most important thing, you don't want to burn yourself out. It'd be nice to spend 4 hours on every single model, but you shouldn't do that. Yeah, if you're looking to try this yourself, you know, it's easy to obsess over every little detail. You got to remember that the designers at IKEA, or at I think Teenage Engineering does the design of this. They probably had months to do this, and I'm doing it in a single night. So, yeah, I'm gonna start setting up for more fill patterns here. Oops. And let's see if I've got my cut extrude. So those are the ones I copied over. Oh yeah, this is the one I want. There's a case for naming your sketches. Split. I want to project that. Sketch has no contour geometry. You liar. Fine. I'll do it this way. Oh, I entered into a sketch and then decided to convert nothing. And actually, I can do 2 at once. So let me just do that. Hide that. And I'll just grab that as well. And say convert. And split line. Let me pick this sketch. There we go. Has both contours in it. Like that. And I'll say fill pattern. We'll do one at a time because I think they have different values. Add direction. Create seed cut. 4 mils and say 5. I think it's like the same density as the other one. Feature scope, I just want the cover. Alright, there you can see that. Looks pretty good. And just rinse and repeat for this other one. So the plate looks thinner on this one. Or the holes do, they look smaller. They're just 2 millimeters. So create seed cut to this boundary. All right, that took a second to update. And they look like they're 3 apart. Oops, let's turn that to 0, just so it goes all the way. And make sure I just get this. And there we go. Oh, actually, I needed to split this. Let me see if I can. Yeah, I just need to go. I think this will throw an error since I can't apply split line to more than one body. That might be a thing. Yeah, I think I'll just cheese it and split these little 2 plates manually. Cheese, cheese, cheese. Give me the cheese. Yeah, so that's gonna be some thickness. Looks like 2 on my end. Well, yeah, cheese. It's good, delicious. Goes good on pretty much everything. Up to next. And yep, we expect this to make more than one body. And yeah, just to fix up the wall. Say 2, make sure it's only attaching to this body. And I may be able to mirror that. Let's see. Right. And that looks to be successful. Wait, no, it's not. Why'd it let me go? Selected bodies. Please apply those faces to this. Alright. Or you'll hate me. That's fine. How do I want to solve this? Fine. I'll just do a body mirror. Why not? And then combine. When things get too cheesy, add more cheese. Haha. Didn't I make a model of cheese once? And I don't think I made cheese. I don't think I've made cheese yet. I made cheese pizza. Actually, cheese pizza with pepperoni. So just pepperoni pizza. I did that. I did that as a demonstration of section properties. That if your pizza droops, you just kind of crease it, and it works just fine. But yeah. I'll go for my combine. Alright, and I just gotta punch a couple more holes. And I'll just do that by just converting these. Convert. Actually, since that was just kind of on a kind of what the fillet said randomly. All right, I want to sketch right here, please. So there's that. Convert. Equal. Yes. Yeah, because they're not exact. And I want the plate to look the same. All right, so I can extrude cut that, clear contours, flip through all, and say, please affect only this body, please. Yeah, and that's actually kind of how it looks like. All right, so what I think I'm gonna do to to end this. Let's see. I think I'll grab the bottom holes and mirror it over, but I'll make a quick plane and I'll say mirror features. Yeah, actually, this is a cross body, so I'm not even sure if this is going to work. Nope, it hated it. Geometry pattern might work for this one, though. Oh, I said no. I said this one. No. Yes. Yes. Very good. That's exactly what I needed. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do the little cable in the back just for sake of time, but I will do the little strap. Some sweet flow simulation. Yeah, I need to get a seat of flow simulation. I don't have it anymore. Yeah, it's too sad. Yeah, the last video I did was aerodynamics of a cat, and that's when I still worked with the reseller. Yeah, so I'm doing these little handle thingies. 12.5. Extrude. Okay, 6 millimeters deep. I probably should have just done one and mirrored it over. Yeah, let me just do that. Okay, so yeah, I'll just work on this. And the screw size. Alright, so that looks to be an M5. So I can get my hole wizard. The baby woke up. Oh, no worries. No worries. You know, it's good that you made it out here. I'm really glad. I'm really glad to hear from you. Yeah, just anyone coming on here and that just makes me so happy. Oh, I just knew M5. What a clairvoyant. Oh, except I might have to. Yeah, it looks like I'll have to modify that. They're probably M5s, but with smaller heads. Because that says 7. Yeah, I'm just gonna make that 8. Yeah, that looks a bit better. The depth of 3. Yeah, so it looks like they're short head, socket head cap screws. Oh, hang on. Socket head cap screw. That might have been my mistake. No, it's still a little different. Yeah, that's still 3. Yeah, so they're like custom screws, so that's really interesting. Uh-oh. Well, I did not mean to do that. Let's see. Selected bodies, just this one, please. There we go. And there's like a little slot. So I'll just cut one. Like that. Say 60. Maybe like 3. Through all. Yeah, that looks all right. Go ahead, mirror this over. Oh, that needs to be a body mirror. There we go. And yeah, let's try and do a strap. How can we do this? All right, so let's just hide that away. Let's hide all of these away for right now. And I'll section along the front plane so I can see a little bit easier what I'm doing. Yeah, so the strap makes this like little loop thing. And it's like sewn on here. So I'll try and capture that. So that blue bit is the Yeah, that blue bit is the cross section of that thing that I just created. So I'll just try and get a spline. Spliny whinies. I might need another point. Oop. I said insert spline point. This spline's a little angry. Let's undo that. That should make things a little better. We don't want them to cross each other, but I will try and make it kind of close. It's definitely not my best spline work. But it will do. I'll just leave it like that. And I'll just do a surface extrude. Mid. Maybe like, I guess 40. Verify with a measurement. Like 45. Hit OK. Alright, so I have that thing. I'll mirror that surface body to the other side. Like that. And for this, for the actual the actual handle, we'll loft it kind of from here up to a point and then back here. But if I use a spline that has way too many points for its own good. Okay, that might be too many, but we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Yep, you're angry. I know. Yeah, I probably have to ditch some of these points. There we go. Oh, that's still a little weird. Okay, there we go. So, normally you don't want a spline with this many points, but by doing this, you can actually induce wrinkles on your spline, which will make your surface seem cloth-like, like it's wrinkling. Oops. I meant to just move that down like that. Yeah, because I don't want the wrinkles to be that extreme. You need to back off. Alright, let's just try it with that, see how it works. Alright, and actually I'll do boundary. That to that. Yeah, loft won't actually work at this case because for this to work, I actually need to put normal to profile on the center profile. And loft won't let you do that. Loft is only for the start and the end profile. So if you want to apply a condition to a intermediate profile, you need to use boundary. Like that. You can see now those are those induced wrinkles. And then I can just say knit. Knit like that. And thicken. This might be a little suspect, but alright, thicken towards that way. Let's just try to. Holy carpet worked. A lot of weird stuff going on there. You could use a little thinner. One. Okay, that is not looking that bad, you know, for this thing. Yeah, I'd say at this point, you know, let's start applying some materials and get a test render going. Alright, so most of it is black, so I will say, go to my appearances. Appearances, plastic, low gloss. Oh no! It crashed on me. Oh crap. I don't know when's the last time I saved. Oh no. Oh my gosh. I am a legend. I am a legend. You see, I didn't even realize, but I was hitting Control S after every operation, I guess. Oh my god, that's nuts. My heart sank there for a second. Oh my god. Yeah, that was close. You're telling me. You're telling me, friendo. Um yeah, uh that's part of the thing with the PC. So my PC does not have an approved graphics card, believe it or not. It has a Nvidia GeForce RTX 2070, I believe. It's pretty good, but it's not an approved card. And some of you might know, you need an approved card to have real-view graphics. So why the heck do I have them? Well, there is a real-view hack that will add a registry key for your graphics card, and it will trick Solidworks into thinking that you have an approved graphics card even though you don't. Which, gives me real view graphics, but it comes at the cost of stability, and the stability is or the lack of stability is what causes a crash. So, it's the price you pay, or I guess the price I don't, since gaming graphics card is much cheaper than a workstation graphics. I don't get crashes like that a lot though. Oh my gosh, it is very dark. Change that to plain white. And actually, yeah, the whole thing is pretty much black. I'm probably gonna have to let me do something for this. So if I go into my fabric, I'll say cloth, and do I want cotton or canvas? I'll do canvas to that body, and I'll make that dark gray. So if I go to color, I can actually have the canvas texture with a color just like that. And that, I'm going to try rendering this. Alright, so save, add-ins, photo view. So first thing I need to do is see that if it's in frame. So I'll do a preview window. Yeah, sure, I'll turn on perspective view. Why not? Yeah, that is not looking that bad. Probably should zoom in a bit more. And if I hold Control and middle click drag, I can actually taxi this around. And Shift, click and drag can help me adjust the zoom levels very fine. It's looking pretty good, although I'm just going to do one little detail. Here, let me pause the preview. I'm going to try and apply some microfillets. And microfillets are the natural imperfections that happen within materials. So there's no such thing as a perfectly sharp corner. And so if you have perfectly sharp corners in your render, that's a lot of edges. Let's see how this does. All right, not that bad apparently. If you have perfectly sharp corners, it can actually remove some of the realism from your renders. Oh, why did I start a sketch? All right, so let's do that. Maybe a couple more over here. Let me see if I can just grab all edges. This might be a little sus. A little bit suspect. Oh, it seems to have worked. Good. Fillet. I'll do that edge and that. Yeah, that'll be fine. So break some of those edges. And let's see the preview. So it's generating right now. Alright, that looks cool. But, you see, this is the problem with me. I always want to do these little things. I promise this won't take that much time. If I go to plastic, low gloss, let's make this thing blue. I think that'll look cool. Just give it my own little personal touch. Reset. Yeah, so if you do this, so I like to keep the preview window open, but if you're going to do a change, make sure you pause it, because that will just like drain tons of resources. It needs to go a little bit down, kind of center it in frame. And I like it. All right, I think that's going to be ready for a render. Let me see my options real quick. Yep, 1080 by 1080 JPEG, final render quality maximum. Yeah. So I just do one last save just in case anything suspect happens, and off we go. So I was thinking of like, if I do like a series of renders, so you see this won't take that long, but if I do like a series of renders, maybe that I want to maybe play a game for you guys while this happens, so it's not just we're just watching a little ray tracer go. But yeah, let me know what you think if you want to see me do some gaming while we wait for renders. I mean, I'd be happy to do that. I mean, not very good, but I can promise to try and at least make it entertaining. Well, I guess the sad thing about or what is a good thing, like a blessing, is that my new computer's pretty good. So even at that max quality render, that took like 2 minutes. So I wouldn't be playing for very long. I'll say I'll save into the 224 folder. And yeah, I'll just title this one. So let's do that. Let's get rid of that. And let's go to Window, show me the folder. And let's take a look. All right, so that is my final render. I'm gonna go clean this up, put the tags on it, and you should see it in social media in 15 to 30 minutes. And that concludes my very first stream, CAD Model of the Day. If you have any thoughts about how I could improve it, be it the layout or something, because I know people like to see the mouse, but maybe it's too big or something. If you have any ideas or suggestions, please let me know. Like I'm always open to improving, and I just want to make this experience as fun for everybody as possible. But with that, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. See ya. And I'm sure.